The Mesopotamians in 4000 BC built observatories and discovered the stars change with seasons, and also discovered zodiac constellations, and originated the idea of dividing a circle into 360. The Egyptians in 4000 BC developed a calendar to predict the Nile flood and align temples and monuments. The Chinese in 12,000 BC made and recorded observations of eclipses, recorded meteor showers, guest stars, and comets. Thales in 585 BC predicted a solar eclipse and was the first person to use the Little Dipper as a navigation aid. Pythagoras was in 550 BC developed a model of the solar system and found out that celestial bodies move in circular paths and most celestial objects are a sphere. The Babylonians in 700 BC used long records of observations to see regularities and patterns in the motions of the moon and planets. They also found each planet's synchronic period and also kept records on clay tablets.
Aristotle, 350 BC, argued all celestial movements must be circular because circular motion is the only kind of motion that can be repeated forever and is suitable for unchanging bodies, proving all celestial objects are spheres. Aristarchus, 280 BC, showed it is possible to use geometry to find the distance to the moon and the relative distances and sizes of the sun and moon, proposed using lunar eclipses to give the relative sizes of the moon and earth, invented a heliocentric, sun-centered model for the solar system. Aristetheus, 25 BC, used geometry to calculate the size of the earth. Hipparchus in 134 BC refined Aristarchus' method of finding the distance to the sun and moon, discovered a new star, made the earliest systematic catalog of the brightest stars. The Mayans in Mesoamerica in 300 AD to 900 AD used astronomy to align buildings to the positions of sunrise and sunset equinoxes and solstice, or aligned buildings and built lines of sight to keep track of Venus, prepared extensive tables of risings of Venus and of lunar and solar eclipses.
Ptolemy in 140 AD completed the system that could accurately account for the motions of the planets using a combination of regular circular motions, created a method to describe the brightness of the star's magnitude system. The Arabs and Muslims in 830 AD performed detailed calculations of the positions of the sun, moon, and planets, and did ellipse calculations. 850 AD wrote about celestial bodies and their motions. Copernicus in 1543 AD published De Revolutionibus, a description of his heliocentric model of the solar system. Bra in 1580 AD observed supernovas, made observations with specially built instruments, invented his own geocentric model of the solar system. 1609 AD uses telescopes to carry out observations of the sun, moon, planets, and stars to discover the moon had mountains, valleys, and plains like the earth. 1610 AD observed phases of Venus and found that Venus shows all the phases from the new to full, discovers four largest satellites of Jupiter, found Jupiter is orbited by 4 satellites, Galilean satellites, proved some celestial bodies don't orbit the earth. 1632 AD published The Dialogue, a debate about the merits of the geocentric and heliocentric models of the solar system.
Kepler, in 1604 AD, observed a supernova. In 1610 AD, he discovers laws of planetary motion, discovered shapes of planetary orbits, how the sun of a planet varies as it orbits the sun, and the relationship between orbital distance and orbital period. Newton, in 1665 to 1667 AD, discovered the law of universal gravitation, invented differential and integral calculus, made discoveries in optics, and in 1686 AD he published Principia, which describes his discoveries about gravity, motion, and the orbits of the planets. Stonehenge, 2500 BC. Alignments of the stones mark the rising and setting points of the sun at the solstices. Edmund Halley in 1682 AD predicted the return of Comet Halley, noted comets with similar orbits reappeared several times, predicted they were all the same comet. In 1718 AD, discovered stars move through space, found the position of stars change with time. Einstein, in 1905 AD, explained the photoelectric effect. Emission of electrons only by light at short wavelengths occurs because light consists of bundles of energy called photons. In 1916 AD, general theory of relativity explained that matter curves space, causing bodies to move in ways we attribute to gravity.
Niels Bohr in 1913 AD developed his model of the atomic structure, which shows the atom is surrounded by electrons that travel in circular orbits around the nucleus like the solar system, proposed that an electron could drop from a higher energy orbit to a lower one. Wolfgang Pauli in 1924 AD proposed the quantum number for the spin of electrons with two possible values, up and down. In 1925 AD, Pauli exclusion principle, which states that no two electrons can exist in the same quantum state.
Werner Herzberg in 1920 AD to 1927 AD developed a matrix mechanism formulating of quantum mechanics, described how the quantum jumps occur, and by interpreted the physical properties of particles and the matrices involved over time, developed the uncertainty principles. Edwin Hubble in 1923 AD shows spiral nebulae galaxies identified individually, separate variable stars in spiral nebula, and use them to show that the spiral nebula are huge collections of stars from the Milky Way. 1929 AD discovers the universe expanding.
Georges Lemaitre in 1927 AD presented the idea of an expanding universe as a homogeneous universe of constant mass and growing radius, accounting for the radical velocity and extragalactic nebula. Introduced the Big Bang theory as well. Robert Oppenheimer in 1939 AD calculated properties of the neutron stars 10 kilometers in radius, contributed to the theory of cosmic ray showers, did work that led to quantum tunneling, first to write about black holes.
Fred Hoyle in 1946 AD formalized the concept of nucleosynthesis in stars, which is the process of nuclear reactions taking place in stars to build the nuclei of the heavier elements and then incorporated in other stars and planets when the star dies so new stars are formed. Penzias and Wilson, 1964 AD, discovered cosmic background radiation, used a radio telescope to detect the highly redshifted radiation from the early stages in the expansion of the universe. Armstrong and Aldrin, 1969 AD, were the first people to land on the moon.